it going, everyone? My name is Cyanix, and welcome to the StarQuest Studios channel, where we feed your appetite for films. Now, about a week ago, we have seen the release of DreamWorks' Dog Man, and I came out of that theater just smiling when I saw it last week on release. Dog Man is directed by Peter Hastings, and it's an adaptation of the book series Dog Man created by Dave Pilkey, who also happens to be the creator of Captain Underpants. The movie has a police officer and his dog named Greg when they are on pursuit of the main villain, Petey, when they encounter a bomb and it explodes, leaving the man's head and dog's body unusable. So the nurses get the idea to mix the two bodies together to create Dog Man. This is a very horror film-esque origin. Now, despite me being excited for this film, I've never read a single Dog Man book in my life. I spent most of my childhood reading Captain Underpants, and I loved the Captain Underpants movie when it came out. There was no reason to not look forward to this film. Same animation style, same character designs, similar humor. I'm also a huge animal lover. People that personally know me know this. I have a dog of my own named Grayson, and I also have a cat of my own named Kirito. My mom also had a dog named Sherry, who we still have today. I went into this movie with an open mind, just hoping I'll have a good time, and I'm really happy to report that's exactly what ended up happening. I enjoyed the movie a ton. Here is what I really enjoyed about this film. From beginning to end, we get straight to the point thanks to its fast pacing. This movie is very hyperactive. There is not a single moment we waste time on any subplot. You will feel like this film goes by fast like a roller coaster. It's only like 1 hour and 34 minutes. It also helps that there's a lot of humor in this film, and the humor is great. While there are very few jokes or references that didn't hit for me, the majority of the film just succeeded in making me smile. This movie is never afraid of being a comic book. I'm a huge sucker when it comes to cartoon stuff. While that is the case, that is not to say that it cannot handle the more emotional moments. Peter Hastings lets scenes sit for a bit. For example, even though this is a comedic film, we get to see a bit how Dog Man's life is impacted after the surgery, or how Petey grew up to be a big meanie. While kids come to watch the fun action from this movie, parents or adults that grew up with the books will watch it too. The team realized that. They knew that no film is complete without these moments, and it surprisingly handles them really, really well. Even my dad liked the deepness of this film. We left that movie just talking in this truck while he was driving, like, what was the lesson learned? Like, what was the topics? And he liked where it went. I was actually very surprised, but come on. It was not afraid to touch any mature moments at all, which I really appreciate. DreamWorks has done a great job in tackling mature moments, like in Puss in Boots, The Wild Robot, and now this film. It is not afraid to touch on very emotional stuff in kids' films, which is something that kids do need to learn. The characters in this movie are very enjoyable throughout the entire film. Importantly, Dog Man and Petey, of course. One thing that surprised me a ton is how much they took advantage of the dogs versus cat aspect. There is so much creativity to scenes and machines that Petey makes to combat Dog Man. Even little humorous scenes that touch stereotypes of these beloved pets are fun to watch. I do want to mention one mixed feeling I have about this though. You'd expect to see a lot of Dog Man in this movie, and as you watch it, especially around Act 2, you start to realize that he starts to take a little bit of a backseat in his own film. Although I can understand that it's probably hard to do a lot with your character when all they do is bark and communicate through drawings and body language, which is very adorable, by the way. Most of the screen time is actually given to Petey. You might sit there and be confused, like, why do we focus on the villain? Coming back to the emotional scenes, most of the heart is from Petey's story. Petey's arc tackles a very mature topic, which is abandonment. And you know what? That is fine with me. The filmmakers knew that obviously we needed something mature to tackle. And when it comes to pets, what is one thing that pets have to deal with at some point? Abandonment. And I really appreciate DreamWorks for touching on this sort of thing. And it can even happen to kids. And this is something that needs to resonate with kids, that these things do happen. I'm not going to talk a lot about this, obviously, but I really enjoyed Petey and his story. He was very fun to follow throughout the film. Also, Pete Davidson's voice is just very fun to listen to. I loved it throughout the entire thing. The rest of the characters are also really great. There are these little interactions and relationships between our characters that just sit right. Everyone gets their spotlight, and they all made me smile. No one failed to make me smile. Now, I just want to sit here and appreciate the visuals we get in this movie. The animation in this film gives me that stop motion vibe, which I absolutely love. There is also no place in this movie where it is not filled with color everywhere. Every frame you see is detailed with cartoonish shapes and colors. It's beautiful to look at. And just like Captain Underpants, the character styles are just chef's kiss. They're all super adorable. I also love how they translated Dog Man to 3D, especially with his ears. He's so adorable. Oh, I really want to plush of him. Even the visual gags are fun to look at. You never get bored of how this film looks. There's also montages that looked really, really well. And when we have visuals, we also need music. So Tom Howie delivers. The music is fantastic. And the first impressions you get in the beginning of the film tells you everything you need to know what we will get. The music is very fun, and it also fits the fast-paced aspect of the film. Again, it's very hyperactive, and it just did not leave you bored. It translates really well to the situations that we're in, and just, man, you're just going to have to listen to it yourself. I can't describe it perfectly. Now, that's all the positives I have for the film, but there is one negative I do have. There are moments in this film where you do feel like it goes on maybe a little bit too long. Mostly the third act. You're going to feel it in the third act. The third act itself is very fun with a lot of action and just very fun gags and more good character moments. I really like that. But there are times where you do feel like the story should probably wrap up at some point, but then it just keeps on going. You know, it just keeps adding more and more. It just felt like it just like wouldn't end. Again, the third act was fun, but it comes at the cost of it feeling a little bit too long. It could have been the fact that I got adjusted to the movie's pacing. So of course, maybe don't fill the final part of the film with extra things if the rest of the pacing was fast, because it definitely felt like it slowed down at the end. With that being said, it's safe to say that I enjoyed this movie a lot. There is a lot to enjoy about this film, and I think kids will be super satisfied after watching it. There are also a lot of heartfelt moments that will connect to adults and make them not regret buying a ticket. And most importantly, Dog Man fans, I think will be very happy with this one. I think DreamWorks did a great job with this. If you haven't watched it but are thinking about it, do not hesitate. I definitely recommend it. It's also very good for ADHD people out there like me. But if you have, let me know what you think about it. Did you love it? Hate it? Liked it? Disliked it? I'd love to hear your opinions. That's all I have to say. Although I do have to think. Is Dogman's owner dead? I don't want to think about this. Thank you so much for watching my review on Dog Man. I think DreamWorks did a great job once again. They've dropped banger after banger after banger. I'm excited to see what more they have in store. If you like this review and want to see more, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. If you want to see my personal channel, go check that out as well. Also, don't forget to drink some water. I will see you all next time. Take care, everyone!